Look at that thumbnail for a moment. A child, facing a wall, painting something in darkness with her bare hand. And behind the paint, something looking back. That image isn't promotional artwork designed to sell you a horror movie. That is the ending of this story. That child has already been taken. What she's painting is the last thing she'll ever create in this world before she disappears into something that shouldn't exist. And the truly terrifying part? It all started because her father watched a home movie he found in his attic. Welcome to Sinister. Scientifically measured, not debated, not voted on, not ranked by critics, but scientifically measured through heart rate monitoring across hundreds of test subjects as the single most frightening horror film ever made. Tonight, we find out exactly why. The film opens with Super 8 footage. Grainy, warm-toned, the kind of home movie texture that immediately signals family, memory, something personal. A family stands together in a backyard. There are bags over their heads, ropes around their necks. And one by one, a branch drops, the rope pulls taut, and they are lifted off the ground. All of them, father, mother, son, daughter, all except one child, who stands off to the side, watching. It lasts only seconds. But it accomplishes something very specific in those seconds. It tells you, before a single character has been introduced, before a single word of dialogue has been spoken, that children are not safe in this story. That families are not safe. And that whoever filmed this moment did so carefully, deliberately, and with complete calm. Someone set up that camera. Someone watched this happen. And someone saved it. That single question, who, is what will keep you watching everything that follows with a knot forming slowly in your chest. Now we meet the family at the center of our story. Ellison Oswalt, played by Ethan Hawke in one of the most underrated horror performances ever committed to film, is a true crime author living on the fading reputation of a single great book. 10 years ago, he wrote Kentucky Blood, a genuine phenomenon that not only became a bestseller but helped crack a murder case the police had been unable to solve. For one brief window of time, Ellison Oswalt mattered in the way he had always dreamed of mattering. Then came 2 more books. Both failures. One so catastrophically wrong in its conclusions that it helped a killer walk free. Now Ellison is desperate. Not struggling, desperate. The specific desperation of a man who has tasted significance and cannot accept that it may be gone permanently. Which is why he has moved his family, his wife Tracy, his son Trevor, and his young daughter Ashley, into a house where 4 members of the Stevenson family were recently found hanged from a tree in the backyard. A case the police cannot solve. A missing daughter named Stephanie who was never found. His family does not know this. Tracy asks him directly, with the patience of a woman who has done this before, "Ellison, we didn't move a few houses down from a crime scene again, did we?" He looks her in the eye. "We didn't." Technically accurate. They didn't move near a crime scene. They moved into one. This is the foundation of what makes Sinister work as more than just a horror film. Before anything supernatural arrives, there is already a man lying to his family, making decisions that put them in danger, justifying it to himself because the alternative, accepting that his moment has passed, is something he simply cannot do. We've seen this character before. Walter White, Jimmy McGill. Men who mistake obsession for purpose and drag everyone they love down the path with them. Ellison's version of that path leads somewhere considerably worse than a prison cell. Moving boxes into the house, Ellison finds 2 things in the attic. A scorpion. And a cardboard box containing a collection of Super 8 film reels. The labels read like cheerful home movie titles. Family Hanging Out, 2011. Barbecue, 1979. Pool Party, 1966. Sleepy Time, 1998. Lawn Work, 1986. He should call the police immediately. This box was not present when investigators swept the house after the murders. Something, or someone, placed it there after they left. Instead, Ellison sets up a projector and watches. Family Hanging Out, 2011 opens exactly like the footage we saw at the film's beginning. A family in their yard, laughing, completely unaware. Then bags over heads. Ropes. The branch dropping. Barbecue, 1979. A family fishing on a peaceful afternoon. Then the same family, tied inside their car, a match dropped, the vehicle consumed by fire. Each film follows an identical structure. Normal family life, then methodical, patient slaughter. Every single time, one child is spared. left standing at the edge of frame, watching. What unsettles Ellison, what unsettles us, isn't just the violence. It's the editing. These aren't raw recordings. Someone assembled them. Made cuts. Added music carefully chosen to accompany each death. Gave them cute, ironic titles. This wasn't impulsive. This was art, in the mind of whoever created it. Ellison picks up his phone and dials the police. Then he glances at a stack of unsold copies of Kentucky Blood sitting on his shelf. He hangs up. That silent moment, no dialogue, no explanation, just a man looking at evidence of his own failure and making a catastrophic choice, is one of the most effectively communicated moral collapses in modern horror cinema. It's in the third reel, Pool Party, 1966, that the film shifts from human evil into something older. A family drowns in their own pool, restrained to lounge chairs that are dragged underwater one by one. And in the corner of the frame, half submerged, completely still, a figure. White face. Black hollow eyes. Watching the family die. Then it turns its head and looks directly into the camera. Which means it's looking directly at Ellison. Which means it's looking directly at you. Shortly after, Ellison discovers drawings in the attic. Childlike illustrations depicting each murder from the reels, labeled carefully, Mom, Dad, Brother, Sister, and one name repeated across every drawing. Mr. Boogie. That name will come to mean something far older and far worse than a child's nickname for a monster. But for now, it sits there on those crayon drawings in the attic like a door that hasn't been opened yet. Soon, the research reveals what Ellison is actually dealing with. An occult expert identifies the demonic symbol appearing across multiple crime scenes. It belongs to an ancient pagan deity known as Bughuul, the eater of children. A being that requires the souls of children to survive, who lures them away from the living world into his own realm and consumes them slowly, and who, crucially, lives inside images. In ancient times, that meant paintings and carvings. Gateways he could move through, that made anyone who viewed them vulnerable. Now, in the modern world, his medium of choice is film. This is where Sinister earns its reputation as not just scary but specifically scary in a way most horror films cannot achieve. When you watched The Conjuring, you were safe. You haven't moved into a witch's house. There is distance between you and the danger. But Sinister removes that distance entirely. Ellison is in danger partly because he watched those films. And you watched them too. When Mr. Boogie turns toward the camera in that pool footage, he is not looking at Ellison. He is looking at you. The film is using its own medium as a weapon against its audience. That is why the Science of Scare project measured heart rate spiking in ways that no other film in their study produced. The horror doesn't stay on the screen. It reaches through it. Deputy So-and-so, a character who never receives a real name but becomes one of the film's most genuinely likable presences, helps Ellison connect the murders geographically. And what they find is not what either of them expected. Horror convention tells us a family moves into a murder house and bad things happen to them there. Sinister adds a devastating extra step. The Stevensons weren't killed in their home. They were killed in their second home. The house they moved into after living in a previous murder house. The pattern repeats across every case. A family is murdered. The next family moves into that house. Eventually, they move somewhere new. And that new house becomes the next crime scene. Bughuul isn't haunting locations. He's following families. And the mechanism is already in motion the moment Ellison found that box. Night after night, the terror escalates in the way that earned this film its scientific distinction. Ellison wakes to film reels playing themselves. He sees Mr. Boogie in the bushes outside his window, holds up a photograph to compare it with the view through the glass, the image lining up perfectly, then lowers the photo and finds the figure standing there in reality, not in any recording, but in the actual dark outside his actual house. Ghost children drift through the rooms at night. One appears inches from Ellison's face in the dark, her features wrong in ways that defy description. And Ashley, his young daughter, mentions an imaginary friend named Stephanie, who used to live in this house, she says, and shows her father the drawing Stephanie asked her to make on the walls outside her bedroom. The realization hits Tracy at that moment. The look on her face when she understands what her husband has done, where he has brought their children, is one of the film's quiet devastations. He moved them into the murder house. No one was murdered in this house, Ellison says. It happened in the backyard. Ellison finally takes the off-ramp. He burns the reels. Burns the projector. loads his family into the car and drives away from that house, back to their previous home. The sheriff pulls them over, and for one terrible moment it seems like even escape might be denied, then lets them go. Relief. Hope. False hope. Because Bughuul was never attached to the house. He was attached to the footage. And a new box of reels is already waiting in their old home when they arrive. These versions contain extended endings, footage that reveals what happened to the missing children from each murder case. They are the ones holding the cameras. They are the ones who committed each killing. Bughuul doesn't murder families himself. He takes one child, possesses them slowly through the images they've been exposed to, and uses them to destroy everyone they love before consuming their soul entirely. The child standing at the edge of the frame in every reel. That was never a survivor. That was the next killer. Ashley has been learning to make coffee the way her father likes it. She has been practicing carefully, getting it exactly right. The morning after the family returns to their old home, she brings him a cup. It is the last kind thing she will ever do as herself. The green liquid that appeared in the victims' glasses across every film reel, the poison used to subdue each family before their deaths, is in Ellison's coffee, in Tracy's drink, in Trevor's cup. One by one, the family falls. And Ashley, fully possessed, does what Bughuul's children have always done. The drawings she leaves behind tell the story her father was never meant to survive long enough to write. When it is finished, she stands before a wall and paints with her hands in darkness, and Bughuul steps forward and carries her into the recording itself. The image on that wall becomes a gateway. She passes through it and is gone. That image, a child facing a wall, painting something monstrous, disappearing into it, is what you saw on the thumbnail before you clicked this video. Now you understand what it means. The Science of Scare project didn't crown Sinister the scariest film ever made because of its jump scares. It has very few. It earned that distinction through something far more sophisticated. A sustained, escalating dread that never fully releases, built on a concept that removes the audience's feeling of safety in a way most horror cannot achieve. You watch horror films on screens. Bughuul lives inside screens. Every horror film you have ever watched has kept the danger contained on the other side of the glass. Sinister is the one that looked back. It is also a film with something real to say. Ellison Oswalt's destruction isn't caused only by a supernatural entity. It's caused by a man who valued his legacy more than his family's safety, who told himself comfortable lies because the truth was too painful to accept, and who drove past every exit that could have saved them because turning back felt too much like failure. Bughuul didn't choose the Oswalt family randomly. He followed the footage. And Ellison invited him in.